Hey guys, how are you? Welcome to week number 3 in our Intro to Business summer courses. I apologize for the delay in the video. Obviously, we had a short week because this week was Memorial Week and we weren't at the office on the Monday, and then Tuesday and Wednesday I was extremely busy. So I gotten finally to a chance to make the video. But wanted to let you guys know that I am watching and grading some of the discussion. Well, I finished the discussions for week 1, and now I'm starting week 2, reading through that and getting to, of course, catch up to week 3 here. So week 2, well done, guys. I appreciate the discussion in regards to small businesses and the government interference with it. Last week, we had a brief discussion in regards to the invisible hand and how that the concept that was developed early on of letting sort of business be on its own. You guys, a lot of you felt like there was an intervention needed by the government to help people stay afloat. So I do appreciate it. So I thank you so much for your involvement. Thank you for the responses on the videos, because I think that that shows me a lot about what you guys, you're connecting with me. And I hope it shows you a side of me that normally isn't seen, or a side of your instructors that's not normally seen, because you don't get to literally see us. That said, this week we're moving on to a discussion in regards to challenging you a little bit. I hope it's challenging you a little bit to discuss the ability to improve yourself, to becoming better leaders. So in Principles of Management, we have a discussion that's, what's the difference between a manager and a leader? And we review that in the Principles of Management course, and we talk about the concepts between leadership and the concepts between management. And here is sort of a tie back to that discussion. I want you guys to think about how can you improve, and I want you to do some flash research. Go on the internet, look at some things on how to become a better leader, and I want you to tell me what you can implement in your life, like becoming a better leader for you. Now, I do see some people already responding, because it is, Joanna Lindsay, of course, which Joanna, I'm so happy you guys got everything straightened out. I owe you some information which will be granted to not just you, Joanna, but the whole class in regards to how I see. Anyhow, I'll explain next week, but hang in there. I haven't not ignored you. That said, I want to thank you guys for jumping on early and getting this done. Thank you for Veronica. I see Sierra and Shelby, Jacob. All you guys have been on here doing your discussions. I appreciate you. A lot of names too that I, obviously have seen in the past. So you guys know how the system works, and I appreciate your patience with me. But we're discussing how to become a better leader. So one of the things that I'll share with you, my personal experience in regards to becoming a better leader. As you guys know, as an entrepreneur, of course, as an instructor, I do a lot of corporate trainings. I do a lot of stuff. One of the things that I had to learn to do, because I've been a public speaker for a large portion of my life, I do have a background in regards to ministry. So I have pastored church for about 10 years. I no longer do that, but I have in the past. I've served in ministries in the past. So one of the things that I've, do is I do a lot of public speaking. I speak in public. So to become a better leader, what I've learned to do is I've learned to be quiet, essentially, and listen, not just hear people talk, but really analyze what they're saying, analyze their body and what their body is telling me as well. What I mean by that, body language is, when they're saying something to me, is it causing distress? Is it painful for them to verbalize whatever they're saying? In a lot of my trainings that I do in the corporate world, I'll start talking to people, and they'll quickly say some of the common things about their environments. As like, I say, well, what's some of the challenges that you face here? And they'll answer with like, there's bad communication, and I can tell when there's been a problem based on their response, like, oh, it's bad. The communication here is horrible. And I can, piggyback off of that question. But if I was just hearing them speak, then I would want to get my point across. Then I would just be like, well, we need to do this, we need to do that. But I try to dig in deeper based upon their body language and their what their mouth, what they're saying verbally, what their body is telling me. And when I see the stress, I try to pick at that and I say, well, is there a specific reason why you bring that topic up? And then they'll start sharing with me a little more in depth in regards to what is going on. Now, I do this a lot, and I find myself doing this just in everyday conversations with people. So, of course, in my world, to be a good leader and to be a good instructor is to try to listen. Now, one of the things I don't have the advantage of doing with you is being able to see you, to actually physically see your reaction. I get to read some of your posts, but I don't get to see what you're doing, and I granted, guys, I get your situation. I understand, you're taking an online class. Most of you are, students that are what we would call non-traditional. You're not straight out of high school and have nothing else to do but sit in front of a computer and do your homework. You're working. You're taking care of families. You're holding two jobs. You're working third shift. You're handling life. And I respect and I get that. And I don't want you to think you're the only one going through that. I, as well as you, have went to school, as some of you, I should say, at a later time in my life. So I didn't go straight. I did start college early, but then I took a break. I started businesses, and then I went back after I sold some of those businesses and had some time to do. So I get that life is happening. So I don't get to see your responses. And I know that right now you're probably typing away or watching this video and have a kid screaming or have 50 things going on or hopefully drinking coffee. But you know what I mean. I get that. I miss that part of not understanding what you're telling me. But in the real world, when you're speaking to an employee or you're speaking to someone, and in our course, we try to implement how do we improve ourselves in management and leadership. And a good leader in my world is a good listener. And that's what I do. I try to silence myself physically. Now, I won't go into a tangent here because I don't want to extend this, but there is a concept that has recently, by recently, I mean the last 2 years or so, has been very intriguing to me because there are people who have what they call an inner monologue or an inner dialogue, a conversation in their mind. They're talking to themselves. And for years, I thought that was a figure of speech. When people say, "Oh, I talk to myself mentally," in my head, I hear a voice, and it's my voice, and it's analyzing stuff, I guess, or discussing or looking at things. My wife has this scenario. My son, my daughter. I do not have an inner voice, so I find it intriguing because in this discussion, how do you become a better leader? I find it interesting that I can shut down my brain and I can think of nothing. And my wife would always say, well, when you're thinking of something, you're always thinking of something. I'm like, no, I don't. And then we found some research and did some research, and essentially 30% of the population does not have an inner monologue or dialogue, which I found fascinating because I didn't know I was part of that group, nor did I believe that, and I find it kind of odd that people have these inner conversations. So that being said, it's easier for me, I guess, to stop and listen to a person and analyze their thoughts and actually think through that process without being disrupted with other conversations happening in my mind. But if you are part of the 70% of people who have that inner monologue, then I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions in this reply. Like, do you have an inner monologue, or do you think in pictures and forms and shapes as I do? I think of pictures. Now, I do have a very vivid memory, and it's interesting because when I think in picture form and shape form. But my wife has a very creative and elaborate, I guess. I don't know. I can't understand how they have. I can't understand the inner monologue. Now, that being said, I think that part of that has gotten me in trouble because I say exactly what I'm thinking, or I guess that's the best way to say it. I don't have that precursor happening in my head, and then should I say this? Should I not? Should I? And my wife says that she has that, and my children do too. I don't. I say what I say. Um, Therefore, I think that has gotten me in trouble at times. But anyhow, I'm fascinated, guys. You tell me, do you have an inner monologue? And if you do, um, how do you go about shutting that down to listen to someone as a better leader? Now, I don't want to influence your answer with mine. That has been my approach to improving myself as a leader, is to learn to listen better. So, guys, today I got good news. I've been complaining about this cup, as you guys know, that's broken because my daughter gave this to me because she knows I'm a huge Office fan, and she gives me cups. I think I've shown you all the cups she's given me, all these different little cups she's gotten, one from Italy and whatever. Anyhow, she's given me coffee cups because she knows I love coffee, and I went online today to order something from Amazon, and there and behold was the cup ordered. And I'm assuming it's probably a Father's Day gift because Father's Day is coming up. But all my little hints have worked. So for those of you who have been cheering me on, hope you get your cup. Cup is on the way. So enjoy today, guys. I hope you're having a great time. Sorry again that it's been so late. It's been busy, but I appreciate your work. I appreciate you. And I hope you have a wonderful week, guys. I hope you're having a great time. And I hope this class is being useful and building you to become a better leader, a better manager. Take care. We'll see you next week. Hasta luego.